march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex has told you about the terrible perfect storm of rising food prices. The Japanese tragedy proves how important food is. Our own gas prices are driving food costs through the roof. The huge population countries are buying up American unprotected exports of food. The falling dollar is inflating food prices. Ethanol subsidies are driving fuel and food costs to all-time highs. We are experiencing the greatest explosion of food shortages and food prices America has ever seen. Folks, you have to freeze the cost and availability of your food now. Through March 31st, eFoods Direct has free shipping on all orders. You can freeze the cost and availability of your food and have it shipped free. Call 800-409-5633 on the web efoodsdirect.com/Alex. Free shipping ends March 31st. 800-409-5633 on the web efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica, the number 3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com.
Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091. Visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
Devastating globalist lies, exposing the mainstream media's propaganda machine, tirelessly waging war on corruption. From deep in the heart of FEMA Region 6 in Austin, Texas, transmitting worldwide, it's Alex Jones. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, we're here live. Back Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m. Central as well. The websites are prisonplanet.tv. PrisonPlanet.com, the news site, Infowars.com, the news site as well. Now, that was our only guest for the day, UK Member of Parliament Nigel Farage, UK European Union Member of Parliament Nigel Farage, with that key information. Now, I want to go over what's happened in Libya, what this means for global government, what the clear strategy and deceptive stratagem and gambit is designed to do. After I play Senator Rand Paul's response to Obama last night, then I'm going to shift gears into the nuclear disaster, Japan on maximum alert, confirming the news that came out 2 days ago of 100,000 times safe levels of radioactivity coming out, getting into the groundwater of Japan. And the evacuation of many areas of Japan is accelerating. The U.S. military is quietly trying to force many Americans out of Japan. They are covering up. I mean, it's coming out in the mainstream media, but they're not focusing on it. And they're announcing how critical it is, but then not pointing out to the general public and not giving the attention to it that it deserves. They're just calmly talking about it like it's no big deal. And it's a huge, huge issue to the economy, to the Japanese people, to not just the economy of Japan, but worldwide. I've got a lot of police state news. I've got globalist bid to ban cars as part of Plandopolis agenda. They're already teaching school kids in Europe and the U.S. that they're going to ban cars soon. The head of the transportation department last year did say in the New York Times that cars are the enemy, that all these agendas are anti-car, that they do want to increase fuel prices, that they do want to shut down our coal-powered systems, so we're completely dependent on the globalist. Obama pushing to legalize the illegal aliens and continue the North American Union merger. The feds are moving to throw out Jesse Ventura's lawsuit against the TSA. He is scheduled to be on next week. We need to double confirm that because he's just now about to get back to the U.S. from Mexico. All of that is coming up. And in the second and third hour today, we're going to have wide open telephones, but I don't want you to have to sit there on hold. At the start of the next hour, I will give the number out. Everybody's welcome to call in then with any item, any news story, anything you wish to discuss. But I wanted to, before I go into some of Obama's speech and the things he said last night, I wanted to have Senator Rand Paul, who's trying to cut the spending by $500 billion when the rest are only pushing for $100 billion, who is pushing to abolish the Federal Reserve or at least audit it, who is against these new wars, who is really proving to be a chip off the old block from his father, and quite frankly, out of the gates, an even better speaker. So very exciting to see Rand Paul and the work that he's doing. Of course, he plays along a bit with the narrative about al-Qaeda and why are we backing al-Qaeda. They are backing al-Qaeda, but he's saying, well, these are the people that attacked us. Well, actually, British SAS got caught in 2006. London Guardian reported, dressed up as al-Qaeda, shooting Shiites to get sectarian war going in Basra. Al-Qaeda was used to attack the Serbs. Al-Qaeda was used to attack, of course, the Russians. Al-Qaeda, led by Anwar al-Awlaki, is working for the Pentagon, AP, Fox News, running all the major attacks in the U.S. and Europe. And he's always protected. Just like Rashroon Aswat was caught and was in the major British papers being MI6 running the 7/7 attacks. See, a lot of times they have moron-level real jihadists who don't know they're working for globalists who are funding them and posing with their big beards and, and their turbans and giving them the money. In other cases, they think they're taking part in anti-terror drills. They're given satchels or they're told to do drills on aircraft, and then you know the rest of the story. And that's come out time and time again. Operation Northwoods talks about how to frame patsies in bombings of U.S. cities, hijack jets, shootings that the Pentagon would carry out with troops dressed up as foreign enemies as a pretext to basically destroy the Republic. You see, look at third world countries. Look at Rome with Julius Caesar. Look at Hitler. They always use the military in the name of fighting an outside threat to take over. Burning their own Reichstag, February 27th, 1933. 1939, Gleiwitz to launch the attack on Poland. In the German documents, the Germans on the Polish border took a few prisoners out of a concentration camp, dressed them up in Polish uniforms, shot them, dressed a few up in German uniforms, shot them, and then shot newsreels that the Poles, with their horse-drawn artillery, had attacked the military communications base. And you know what happened next. See, people just think Hitler just attacked Poland. Go read the history. He attacked when the Poles launched a sneak attack. It's the oldest trick in the book. And the people running our country are the terrorists. They're not our government. They're not legitimate. They are doing everything they can to destroy this republic. Don't forget that. And they are sifting through the military and police ranks and corporate ranks with Infraguard and the clergy's ranks to find people that want to be anti-American spies, terrorists, controllers for the full martial law takeover that they're setting up. And if you don't think it can't happen here, Major General Smedley Butler, two-time Congressional Medal of Honor winner who'd overthrown countless third world countries for the gunboat diplomacy system that our country had then back in the 20s and 30s, He was approached by Prescott Bush, by the Harrimans, by others. And there were congressional hearings on this, to lead a group of 500,000 former and current military and police who'd already been recruited to overthrow the U.S. government and merge with Hitler. You just heard Nigel Farage, member of the European Union Parliament from England, talk about the majority of the British government wanted to merge with Hitler. This was a major move. But instead, the equally bad socialists positioned themselves to then fight against Hitler when they'd actually been involved financing him from the beginning. This is the extremely sophisticated strategy of the New World Order. They call it full spectrum dominance. That doesn't just mean air, land, sea communications, but info war. But they use the weapon of lies. We use the far more powerful weapon of truth. But full spectrum dominance means controlling all sides, funding the foreign armies, funding the terrorists. It goes back to the Rothschilds and others, going back over 300 years, financing both sides in every major European conflict. Who wins? They do. This is the system. And as soon as you figure that out, you understand it all. Then it makes perfect sense. Again, how long have I told you Al-Qaeda works for the West? Now they're out in the open going, yeah, they're Al-Qaeda. So what? Yeah, Saudi Arabia shipping in weapons. So what? Forget about it. Move along. Nothing to see here. All right, here is Rand Paul's little 5-minute response to Obama's ridiculous grandstanding speech. He's the big humanitarian with all these wars. Here it is.
The President of the United States often faces unforeseeable dilemmas that demand tough decisions based on reliable intelligence. The recent events in Libya presented President Obama with such a scenario. But how our commander-in-chief chose to handle this new dilemma raises serious questions about his understanding of constitutional checks and balances. Libyan President Muammar Gaddafi is every bit the madman Ronald Reagan once said he was. But are the rebels adherents to Jeffersonian democracy or bin Laden's radical jihad? In 2007, then-candidate Obama said that the president does not have power under the Constitution to unilaterally authorize a military attack in a situation that does not involve stopping an actual or imminent threat to the nation. I agree with the candidate Obama. Unfortunately, President Obama has failed to heed his own advice. He has ignored our Constitution and engaged us in a military conflict without congressional debate and approval. What imminent threat did Gaddafi or Libya pose to the United States? Obviously, the decision to take military action of this magnitude is something that should not be taken lightly and should first require determining whether it is in the United States' vital national interests. Over the weekend, even Defense Secretary Robert Gates admitted that America has no vital interest in Libya. Our brave men and women in uniform are patriotic defenders of our nation. They are members of the greatest military in the world, and in times of war, I am confident of their willingness and ability to ensure that our vital interests are protected. But they should not be asked to be nation builders or the world's policemen, and they should serve in wars authorized and called for by the United States Congress, not the United Nations. At the moment, there are uprisings taking place across the Middle East. The problem with sending U.S. military to help rebels in Libya or anywhere else is that we are taking sides in a conflict and on behalf of a people whom we know nothing about. When or if there is regime change in Libya, what kind of leadership exactly will replace Gaddafi? Who are the Libyan rebels exactly? The Daily Telegraph reported over the weekend that some Libyan rebel leaders now claim they have members of al-Qaeda within their ranks and are glad to have them. Why do we have American soldiers, our best and bravest, helping people in Libya who may be the very same people we ask our military to fight in Afghanistan and Iraq? Intervening in a civil war in a tribal society in which our government admits that we have no vital interest to help people we do not know simply does not make any sense. Libyan society is complicated, and we simply do not know enough about the potential outcomes or leaders to know if this will end up in the interests of the United States or if we are in fact helping to install a radical Islamic government in place of a secular dictatorship. Of even more lasting concern is how our troops were committed to this battle by President Obama. The Founding Fathers understood the seriousness of war and thus included in our Constitution a provision stating that only Congress can declare war. The decision to wage war